guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura Presnell, and I'm the founder of Balanced Bombshells, and I help women naturally balance their hormones through cycle syncing, through food and fitness and lifestyle changes, anytime you want to basically get rid of the symptoms you might be feeling or boost your fertility when you're ready for a family. So I just released a video about do you have estrogen dominance, which I'll link in the description below if you want to check out that video. It goes through the symptoms of estrogen dominance. This is the sister video where it goes over 3 ways to naturally lower estrogen if your estrogen levels have been too high and you're noticing a lot of those symptoms. So the first one is to keep your liver clean. That is like your first, I guess, like area of defense when it comes into effectively balancing hormones in general. We want to keep our liver as clear as possible. So with estrogen, we want to be really targeted for our liver based on anything in our life that might contribute to higher estrogen. So one of them is to toss any chemical-ridden products and opt for more natural versions that you have in your home. So this can be from makeup, hair, skincare products, and you're really looking for anything that doesn't have parabens and platelets. These actually mimic estrogen in the body, and it basically is like a fake estrogen. And then when it gets on our skin is our largest organ. It's seeped into our body and creates more estrogen than our body needs. And then you might be like, wow, I'm using all these skincare products, but I'm still getting breakouts. It could be based off the formula in which the company is using. So I like to toss all those chemical products and really looking for paraben free, platelet free. Like you want those out of your like regimen so that your skin has the opportunity to not absorb extra estrogen. So basically the body can't tell the difference between like fake estrogen and like estrogen that your body's producing, and it just keeps creating more of it. So that is really going to help just kind of calm down the extra estrogen that you're exposing yourself to. So then even cleaning products, like anything that's going to touch your skin, get all the chemical stuff like out. It's really, I felt like that was one of the biggest changes I made for my skin. And I definitely noticed that by switching out my products, my skin stayed clear naturally because I wasn't having the fake estrogen load in my life anymore. So additionally, for your liver, if you can, reduce or completely eliminate alcohol, depending on how severe your symptoms are. This doesn't mean that you don't ever drink. I'm just saying, like, as you're balancing your body, if you're like, wow, I really am noticing that my estrogen levels are too high, completely eliminating it for a while is going to help your liver. So our liver helps us process out the alcohol and helps us process out any of the toxins. So the more we can reduce it, especially when we're on this balancing journey, that's really going to just help your liver, like, being able to focus on processing out the extra estrogen and hormones that you don't need versus first it's going to focus on clearing out the alcohol. So if you're noticing like, yeah, I am having a lot of these symptoms and I drink a couple times a week, or I have like a couple cocktails on the weekend, it might be too much for your body right now, and that's okay. I definitely went through a phase where I didn't drink at all. Now I actually pair alcohol to where I'm at my cycle, and I drink when estrogen is naturally lowest. So during ovulation, when estrogen peaks, I actually refrain from alcohol because I know that my body has a harder time with too much estrogen. Alcohol increases our estrogen levels. It kind of blocks, it's blocking our liver. For me, it just doesn't serve me well to be having any sort of alcohol during the times of month when estrogen is high. So I focus it on having a drink or two when my estrogen levels are lower. So that's like after our period ends, depending on how I feel during my period. I also try not to drink during my period because of the increased inflammation it can provide our body. So just kind of understanding your cycle and how your body might respond to some of these things will help you plan out your life better. And if I do choose to drink during those times, I'll at least know the symptoms that I can expect. So when my husband and I were getting married, our wedding fell on when we were ovulating. And I'm like, of course, I'm going to be having a drink or two when we're getting married because what a celebratory thing, right? Like, I want to be able to have a cocktail. So I remember just keeping it to like 2 drinks max on our wedding night. And I just remember thinking, like, okay, in the next week, like my body might feel a little bit more bloated. I might have more water retention. I might have some breakouts. But I knew that, and I was able to weigh the decision based off of what I wanted for the event, but at least understanding what I would be going through. 2 other things that you can do to support your liver is to increase cilantro and parsley in your diet. This could certainly be like added to salads. I actually will throw like a handful of cilantro into a smoothie. Parsley for me is a little bit harder. I don't like it as much. So depending on what your preference is, but those two herbs are really helpful on targeting your liver. Also adding in more lemon. So like drinking lemon water in the morning. I've definitely noticed a change in bowel movements when I'm consistently using lemon. You can use it in salad dressings, other main dishes, but I noticed like just juicing it and drinking it was really helpful for the liver. So you can even like target that if you're going to have a cocktail or two, like have a cocktail and then ask for some water with lemon. I feel like it's just kind of helping like counteract our liver. But I'm curious if you also notice a change in your bowel movements that basically is telling you like your body is effectively helping pull the hormones out, which would include estrogen. And lemon is just like people say, like I've heard so many different opinions about lemon, and some people are like, oh yeah, like I don't really notice a difference. I absolutely did. So depending on the state of your body and where you're at, you might notice that it also helps kind of flush the fluid and toxins and stuff out of your body. It's loaded with vitamin C as well, so it's really helpful for our skin. But those are just a few things with food that you can start incorporating a little bit more to really target your liver to get that estrogen out. So then the second thing we want to do outside of keeping our liver clean is to increase our fiber. So fiber helps bind to the excess estrogen and hormones that our body doesn't need and helps it pull it out of your body through your bowel movements. So if you noticed that your bowels might be a little stuck or you're like not as regular or you're like, wow, I'm just feeling like I don't go as much as I know I'm supposed to, like I don't feel like I'm fully emptying my bowels. There is that feeling. Some people feel it, some people don't. Adding more fiber into your diet can help a lot with that, which is going to help your hormone balance and lower estrogen naturally. So you can do seed cycling. So if you don't know what that is, I'm going to drop a blog post in the description box below. It's how you can actually change out your seeds. With added nutrients that actually help counteract with your cycle hormones, and you kind of change them out with your cycle. So the blog post will go into more of that, but they're also loaded with fiber. So it's actually going to help support your body on pulling out the estrogen at the right times of your cycle. And a lot of women notice that their skin gets a bit clearer. It's not like an end all be all, but it's definitely helpful, the seed cycling. And then I use like packaged packs because I used to just grind all the seeds myself and it was a lot of work. So I'll also link a company with a coupon code if you want to get some seeds delivered to your house where you don't have to like think about it as much. But the extra fiber is really going to help. So you can certainly do seeds. You can increase your fruits and vegetables. You could add psyllium husk to water every day. You can start with a teaspoon and kind of work up from there. Psyllium husk is just like a powder supplement that's soluble fiber that really helps bind to the hormones. I've actually used it in pregnancy, especially in the first trimester, which helps a lot with nausea. So it actually just helps clear out the digestive tract. So any like extra hormones or anything that's like sluggish can actually just make you feel so much better. So having the psyllium husk can really help. But adding in more fiber is going to help with your hormone balance as well. And then the third one, we hear this all the time, but managing your stress levels. But I'm going to break it down in terms of the hormone component with this. So if you want to lower estrogen, what happens is if estrogen is higher, cortisol increases, which is your stress hormone. So naturally you're going to feel more stressed. So if you watch my other video about what estrogen dominance is, there is parts of your cycle when estrogen is too high and it can make this overstimulated energy and very stressed out energy to how you feel going through your day, no matter how much like yoga, meditation, like all that stuff you do, you're like, I just can't seem to like calm down. So if estrogen is high, cortisol is naturally higher because progesterone is naturally going to be lower if estrogen is high. So they're on like a seesaw together. So what happens in this hormone relationship is that if progesterone is lower, you don't have enough to counteract like the excess estrogen. So what happens is cortisol steps in and competes for the same receptors of progesterone. So the more that we can actually lower our stress levels, the better we can actually help that hormone balance between estrogen and progesterone. So it's going to be really helpful for helping you manage your overall like health and support. So you basically want to walk. Walking helps lower cortisol, certainly doing yoga. Magnesium can really help just kind of calm your body down with cortisol. Meditation obviously can help. So just kind of understanding how to lower cortisol is going to help you lower estrogen. Again, I dive more into this in my Moody Meltdowns to Balance Bombshell program, but it also goes over how to really effectively metabolize cortisol. It helps you address your adrenal glands, which might be contributing to higher estrogen levels. Like if your adrenal glands are off at all and you're having adrenal fatigue, that just means your body's overproducing cortisol and it's basically also driving up estrogen. So the more we can balance the organs in your body, which is what I dive into with my one-on-one clients and in the Moody Meltdowns program, that's really going to help you find that more balance. And then in that program, I also share my supplement guide on very specific supplements that help metabolize cortisol better, help with your liver, help with lowering estrogen. I definitely had to go through a period in my balancing journey where I couldn't just do it on food and fitness alone and these lifestyle changes. I did need some supplements for a certain period of time. So it wasn't forever. It was just like during your balancing phase. But that's really going to help bring your estrogen levels back in balance. If you're noticing that, like, hey, I've tried these other things, it's not working as effectively, there's still additional support and more targeted support that you can give your body. And the supplement guide is only in my Moody Meltdowns program, or if you work with me one-on-one. So I'll drop both of those links if you want to do a discovery call with me, or if you want to hop into the Moody Meltdowns program, which is completely automated and you can do on your own time. But those are just 3 ways in which you can help kind of start lowering your estrogen levels and just kind of getting to know your cycle as well. If you're new to the world of cycle syncing and just kind of how our hormones ebb and flow through the month, it's going to give you a lot of peace and calm and just like this understanding of like, oh yeah, like this is why this stuff is happening. So thank you for joining me and I'll see you next time.